Let's go.
Sweet. What's up, everybody? Jack Farr here on behalf of Box to Box Football. I'm here with James. I'm going to do a little bit of hosting today because we have some Arsenal-related news, and I didn't want to take any of James's, kind of hype about the situation from him. So the first one, and I'd say definitely actually, no, you know what, James? We'll save the good one for dessert. Let's do the kind of rubbish one, the one that may be a bit weird, so we can talk about just very, very quickly as people are coming into the stream. Brighton goalkeeper, Matt Ryan. He was removed as the Brighton #1 at points earlier this year from some really poor performances. And now he's in a position where he was the backup at Brighton, but supposedly, if you read his comments and believe what he said in the club statement, he's always been an Arsenal fan, and he's going to push Bernd Leno to be the best goalkeeper he can be. And hopefully Bernd Leno is going to push Matt Ryan to be the best goalkeeper he can be. This is not a guy in terms of goalkeeper ages that is particularly old. If he hits kind of a purple patch of form, maybe he could challenge somebody like Bernd Leno for the #1 spot. I was just wondering, obviously the likes of Wojciech Szczesny now at Juventus, Emi Martinez now killing it at Aston Villa. You know how highly I think of Bernd Leno, but I just want your initial reaction to the signing of Matt Ryan, the Australian from Brighton.
If I'm being honest, I don't really care. I know he's not the goalkeeper, cool. I just pray Bernd Leno doesn't get injured, because even then, Matt Ryan, I'm not going to back him like that. I don't believe he's going to support us and going to take us to a 4th place finish or a top table finish, But it's better than Runnison. Anything better than Runnison, because Runnison, that Man City performance was possibly one of the worst things I've ever seen from a goalkeeper. Everything he made one good save, and bar that, everything else he did was just absolutely horrendous. Matt, I'm guessing it's going to be just a makeshift for next 6 months. Just kind of hope that Leno doesn't get injured, so we can just get through the season and then actually find a #2, because we were linked with the was it the Brentford #2 and then like the Barcelona #2. We were linked with a few, so I don't think he's going to be the guy. That's why, hence why we got him on loan, and no one expected it.
I think I know you say I don't really care, and I know that is based on the fact that Bernd Leno, chances are, isn't going to get injured. How often do we really see goalkeepers get injured compared to outfield players? Not kind of as often. But what I think I would say to you is, you do have a secure backup there with Premier League experience, and if he starts playing really, really well, especially if he's an Arsenal fan, I think you're going to have a guy who's really, really motivated to try and be the #1 for Arsenal. I think that can only do good for Bernd Leno, even if Matt Ryan never plays.
I guess so, but it showed when Martinez was there, and even when Martinez was absolutely brilliant, Leno still wasn't really challenged. I felt Arsenal should have had Martinez as the #1. They decided to stick with Leno. Martinez is doing absolutely brilliant in Aston Villa. Leno has been great for Arsenal too. I can't take that away from him, but it just shows you. I don't think he's ever really going to be pushed. It has to be a serious candidate for him. We put him on his toes. Is if he really looks across and say, okay, no matter how many saves you're making, are you really going to take my spot?
Yeah.
No. He's just there for show, if I'm being honest.
I'd say you're probably right, especially because of that kind of the idea that it is a loan, and obviously he really does seem to have no future at Brighton. So potentially worst case scenario, maybe he's even your 3rd keeper, or maybe he is backup. You can get him super cheap in the summer. Who knows? Moving on to the kind of pièce de résistance of this news of 2 that we've got right here. I think it's going to open up many interesting areas of conversation. We'll get on to a couple of other bits and bobs later here with regards to injuries and players having surgery and whatnot, where I think James and I will agree, but there's some potential that we might disagree at some points here as this conversation rolls on. Yes, in January 2015, I believe it was, from a team called Strømsgodset in, I believe it was Norway, for about €4 million, rising up to €8 million. A young Norwegian kid who, as every young #10 ever gets called, was the new Messi. And Real Madrid managed to get their hands on him. He's 22 now. That was 6 years ago. So yeah, when he was 16 years old, and we thought, oh my God, this guy's got to be the real deal. They've spent so much money. He spent a couple years at Real Madrid Castilla, and then obviously had a few loans. I don't think they worked out particularly well. Everyone kind of made fun of the signing, I think, because this wonder kid, usually people break out when they're 17, 18, if they're really that talented, and then they go and do stuff. Loans back at Hereven, loans at Vitesse Arnhem, and then more recently, his very, very high-quality performances at Real Sociedad. He's now back with that Real Madrid team after his loan has finished there. And instead of negotiating an extension, we're actually in a position where Martin Ødegaard could be on a 6-month loan to Arsenal. James, I just want to get your initial reaction to this. I know you've been clamoring for a Hassem Aouar or somebody like that. Is this the guy, the type of guy that you want?
And take myself off mute quickly. I think if you're an Arsenal fan, you'll take what you can get. You know, this wasn't a window where you expected to see big signings, and for someone to come of his type of quality, for someone to come like that available, we had to go for it. It's good to see the club look like find someone with the ability, because as much as we don't want to mention him, that guy there, we have missed him as like Mesut Ozil, but now he's not an Arsenal player. And bringing in Ødegaard to me brings a different option. You know, Smith Rowe has been absolutely fantastic since he's came in really giving like Arsenal's back. But the one thing I'm going to enjoy about bringing in Martin Ødegaard is two things: can not only challenge Smith Rowe, but also his versatility. Because I believe right now what could possibly happen is, let's say you may ask Martin Ødegaard to play as the 10, and then may ask Smith Rowe to play on the left-hand side, but then ask him to come inside like an inside forward in a way, and then have Tierney just, you know, play all down the left-hand side. But also creates options to play in between the lines with Smith Rowe and Ødegaard, which I absolutely love.
But let me ask you, James, are we saying that the three sitting behind the main striker then, the two wide players, the 10, sitting behind Aubameyang, Lacazette, whoever, are going to be Smith Rowe, Bukayo Saka and Ødegaard? Is that where Arsenal's team?
That's what I would potentially want. I would, like, again, people like Aubameyang on the left-hand side, and like he scored the other day, why not? But when I watch Arsenal, I just feel like we lack that bit of creativity. And I believe, like, with Tierney down that side, he's enough there. We don't need a second option there. We like we don't need a winger. It's players playing in between the lines who can receive the ball and do something a bit different. So having option of having Smith Rowe and Ødegaard there, who can switch around and play in like, can also get into the box and like score goals. That's something that Ødegaard brings to this team that Ozil really didn't. I think that that's a viable option personally.
I mean, a couple of things. I think it makes Dani Ceballos sweat over his future. And I think that regardless of the outcome of this loan, there is going to be an open dialogue between Arsenal and Real Madrid representatives. I think it's going to be one or the other come the summer. I think if Ødegaard plays very, very well, Dani Ceballos is not going to be attempted to be permanently signed by Arsenal, and it will be somebody like Ødegaard. What I don't love, James, and I think it's kind of bittersweet from this standpoint, there's not like an obligation to buy or an option to buy as a part of the loan. If Martin Ødegaard comes in and absolutely tears it up, you could be priced out potentially of a move. Do you think maybe Arsenal should have just taken the risk and made a bid for him of a certain amount and hope he exceeds expectations? Because the risk you run now is him coming to the Premier League, absolutely balling out, and then either Real Madrid keep him or a team with more money buy him.
I'm personally willing to take that risk, because I don't believe Ødegaard was ever Arsenal's number one option. He was an option that came available, and that's why we went for him. If you really ask Mikel Arteta, was Ødegaard like, is Ødegaard your man? No, I believe Hassem Aouar and another number 10 without we don't know what will come in the summer. Another thing with this Ødegaard issue is Real Madrid. I don't think Real Madrid really want to sell this guy. He's 22 years of age and really kind of showing the ability that we all know he has. I see him long term being at Real Madrid, but at this moment in time with like Zidane at the helm, it's not going to happen. So the best thing for him at Real Madrid is for him to go on loan, especially to a place like Arsenal where all eyes are going to be on him. If he does do well, there's not going to be a reason for Zidane not to bring him into the team and like start him.
How's he going to do? And I'll tell you why I'm asking that question, because some quotes resurfaced about Pep Guardiola, and Pep was talking about how if Pep got him when he was at Bayern Munich over a few years, he'd make him the best player in the world. He would make him the best player in the world, like quite easily. I think with the quotes he said, I'll have to double check those while you're giving your answer. But Pep talked about him glowingly. We know that this is Mikel Arteta. This is, the Pep Guardiola coaching tree. This is the Cruyff coaching tree coming from that Barcelona era. It's that kind of offshoot of total football. What are we saying here? Is Ødegaard, is this going to be one of the best loan signings we've seen? Is it going to be somewhere in the middle, or is it just kind of a throwaway token to just appease the Arsenal fans a little bit? Excuse me, those quotes.
With loan signings, you don't really know what you're gonna get. With Martin Ødegaard, he's a young kid, and the question is how is he going to adapt to the Premier League? Because he may come in and he may take a year to adapt, like a Kai Havertz, or he can come in and take the Premier League by storm. But the only problem with it is that we have him for only 6 months. Jack?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not easy, is it? And they don't always go well. So I think I found some of the quotes here. Bear with me a second. That was it. He was being interviewed by Janaj Fjortoft, who's a Norwegian journalist, and he talked about when Pep was at Bayern, he wanted to sign him, and he said he could turn him into the world's best player. And obviously, for such a glowing verdict, for somebody who you would imagine thinks tactically and just generally thinks similarly to Pep Guardiola when it comes to football, that maybe this is going to be a decent marriage in terms of a fit. So talking about Dani Ceballos, where does this leave Dani Ceballos in this Arsenal team? What do you think? Is this lighting a fire under him or what?
If I'm being honest, I don't really think it does anything to Dani Ceballos. Because Dani Ceballos occupies, Arteta likes to play a double pivot, and Dani Ceballos occupies in that double pivot. So we all know when fit, Thomas Partey is going to be the number one. The question is who is going to be next to him, and I don't think Ceballos is ever going to compete with Smith Rowe or Ødegaard for the attacking midfielder position. He is competing to play next to Thomas Partey, and his competition is Granit Xhaka and El Nene. So I don't think that is an issue for him. But for me with Dani Ceballos is that we need a lot more from him. There's too many times I watch him in it's spurts of genius. No, we need consistent. For all the great Spanish midfielders we've had, Cesc Fabregas and Santi Cazorla, I was expecting so much from this guy. I remember watching him in the under-21s for Spain. He was the captain. He was absolutely brilliant for them. He was breaking lines. He was scoring goals. With him, I don't really see that. At times, he looks like a spinning bottle cap, where a lot a lot of turns, but not enough cutting edge. So that's what he's going to need into his game personally.
So let's kind of make this into a little bit of a broader Arsenal discussion, just to finish off here before we get on to some other kind of news and notes. So Ozil's gone. Reaction to that straight away? I mean, just kind of quick. I mean, how do you look back on Ozil's Arsenal career? Are you happy he's gone? Sad he's gone?
If I'm being honest, I'm sad he's gone. Mesut Ozil is one of my favorite players to ever play for Arsenal. Just one of my favorite players in general. Fantastic guy. It's a shame how this whole situation finished, because I felt like looking at his Arsenal career, we've always wanted more, but I can't ever say that Ozil has been horrible. But just sad to see the way how the last time he played was nearly a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
When's the last time he played? 2020, but early 2020.
And even then, it wasn't pretty. I think it was usually he was getting hooked at around 60 minutes or so if he started, or he was the sub.
Do you know what it is? One thing the narrative I hate about the Mesut Ozil situation is that this thing about Arteta didn't really pick Ozil is personally to me one of the most false narratives has ever been placed. I thought his first 13 games in charge of Arsenal, Ozil started like 12 of them.
Oh,
You know,
really?
it's like the last game he came on as a substitute and what's called again assisted the goal for Lacazette. The game against Manchester United he started. The game against Chelsea he started, and he was brilliant in that. Something must have went on. We don't know what has gone on. I'm not going to speculate what was going on anymore. I know, like, of course, I have feelings about it, but just sad to see him go. Just want to wish him all the best in Fenerbahce, and also just want to see him on a football field. A player so talented, just not even on the bench. Like we don't see Mesut Ozil at all. So just want to see him playing football again.
I'm sure over the next 2 or 3 years we're going to have some crossover in the Champions League or in the Europa League where Mesut Ozil will be playing one of the English teams again. Maybe Arsenal. That would be one hell of a storyline. That would be kind of nice, but you never know. But to make it so to kind of broaden it out even more, Ozil's now gone. We're talking about potentially we're going to move on from Granit Xhaka. You already mentioned that double pivot is going to be Thomas Partey and who else? You didn't mention anybody like Granit Xhaka's name. I believe, unless this has been confirmed, Socrates Papastathopoulos, he's offered a mutual termination of his contract, right?
Yeah.
And that's happened now, has it? Is he gone?
Yeah. That was done like 3 days ago.
So Socrates is now gone. Sead Kolasinac has gone back to Germany on loan, right? With
Schalke on loan, and he's on the final year of his contract.
So we're starting to see some movement of some players here. Some of that kind of dead wood, if you can call somebody like Mesut Ozil a dead wood. These kind of guys who weren't really part of this, Mikel Arteta project are kind of clearing out now. And we're starting to see the first few names of players who are coming in. Kieran Tierney, Thomas Partey, Matt Ryan, as much as we joked about him before, Martin Ødegaard. Are we happy with where this Arsenal team's going? Because from where I'm standing, all the right noises are coming out of Arsenal right now. And part of the reason why I had so much faith in them in the pre-season is because I back Arteta. Out of all the young managers in the league right now, and young as in inexperienced, so Lampard, Solskjaer, Arteta, out of kind of all those younger guys, Mikel Arteta is the guy I would hang my hat on and say, you know what, that's my guy, I'm putting money with him. Are you in the same boat as me, or are you still kind of, let's wait and see, remains to be seen?
Mikel Arteta is Arsenal manager, and I'm going to back him. All this thing about chopping and changing managers. Yeah, I get it, but the board want him there, so there's no way that he's going to leave. We already had the battle run. He's still manager. He's going to be there for a long time in for the near future. You can only back him. I've seen moments of brilliance from Mikel Arteta, and I've also seen moments of negative and naivety from him. So it's a mixed bag. But again, he's a young coach. He's learning his trade. As much as I want a challenge, as much as I want to see Arsenal win Champions Leagues, this is our reality right now. We are where we are, and we deserve to be where we are.
I think that's really good. And I think a lot of other Arsenal fans need to kind of take a leaf out of your book there, because I hate to say this, but unfortunately, guys, the relationship between money and football is undefeated. And only once in a blue moon does that ever get defeated. Arsenal do not have the spending power of the kind of major teams, many of which reside, funnily enough, in the Premier League. If Arsenal are going to have to achieve something here, it's going to have to be by outthinking people instead of outspending people. And that's why I have so much faith in Mikel Arteta, because where Arsenal should be with the amount of money that they have to spend and to play with the wages of their team and all that kind of stuff, they're probably just outside of the top four. And obviously Arsenal have been there on and off.
I wouldn't we pay some very high wages. Just let's not forget that we pay Mesut Ozil 350,000 a week. Aubameyang, I'm not sure how much he's on. He's on he's on a good amount. Lacazette is on a good amount. So we pay high wages. Like Kolasinac before he left was on 100K a week. So you say that we are where we are. I feel like we overpay for players. That's for me, that's the only problem.
You do a lot of the time. I think it's more about the kind of just general transfer spend and the wages on top of that. There are at least 4 teams who are spending more than Arsenal at the moment. And like I said, that relationship financially between being successful and being unsuccessful, and money does definitely exist. I think that giving Arteta the freedom to bring in players he wants to bring in, get rid of players that he doesn't want, and really try and build something and get Arsenal's status back up to where it should be, which is a shoo-in for top four and then challenging for Premier League titles, has to be the future of this club. Far too often from Arsenal fans, which I think everybody laughs at, but I get a little tired of sometimes, is this idea that they should be at the top, competing. However many years ago, 10, 15 years ago, however long ago, I'd have said, yeah, sure, that's absolutely fine. But as of right now, it's just a non-factor. We were just about to talk about the three sitting behind the striker as two youth players and Martin Ødegaard, who's coming off a loan from Real Sociedad. You know, this is not the team that it was before. And I think we need to temper expectations, give the guy a chance, let him go. You're on mute, by the way.
Jack, I feel different about that. Because personally, I want to challenge. I want to win the league. We let Arsene Wenger go to take us to that next level. Yeah, we brought Unai Emery to bring us to that next level. Well, that's what I thought we did. But ultimately, as a football club has been based on winning trophies since we first started. I wouldn't say till now, but that's all we've done in that time. And like for us in the last 17 years, not to win a title, and like, let's be honest, not to really even be close to challenging, it's not good enough. No. I want to find the quickest solution to getting us back to where we can possibly be. I don't want to. I don't want to do a thing where like we're waiting 5-10 years to build. No, it's then and it's now, and we want to win. You know, Jack. We also have a little comment here. Let me show it to you.
Yeah. What do you think of Bundesliga centre back Eric Schön?
Wait. Is Eric Schön a real? Because I know what these guys used to do.
James, just to cap off that point finally with Arsenal, I think that it is going to be a longer. I think it is going to be a longer point going forward for Arsenal. I don't think it's a quick fix. I do think that this is going to be a slightly longer term project. As much as I'd like to say it is going to be a quick fix, I think you got the pieces in place, like Bernd Leno. I do rate him as a goalkeeper. I do like Kieran Tierney. Are we saying also, Eric doesn't exist?
Yeah, he doesn't. Listen, I rate you. Dude, I rate you. He was trying to catch us out. I rate that, but it's not happening. You know.
Yeah, I was going to say like
a few times.
I'm usually the type. I will just be honest. If I don't know a player, I would just say I was going to be like.
I rate you for that. Well done. He tried. Not happening.
But I do think there are a couple of pieces that Arsenal do have, but I don't think it's pieces over the next 2 or 3 years. I think they are pieces over the next 4 or 5 years. I look at Partey, I look at Tierney, I look at Bernd Leno. Damn, who's the centre back's name that you brought in? The one who looked pretty good, Gabriel. Yes, he looks pretty good. Smith Rowe's come in and looked great. I think these are names, though. You're on mute, I still think, James.
But Jack, the question is, are we building a team to win the title? You know, there's no point in saying he looks good or
I think you are.
Or like she looks like that. I want to know that how close are we to winning the title? You say that, but our best player, our striker, is 33, 32 years of age. We're gonna have to bring in a striker soon because Lacazette and Aubameyang, they're moving on in age. We have Partey is 27. I think he's turning 28 this year. So it's not like he's a young buck. He's here to win right now. So it's rather this season to me, it's a write-off. The only thing I'm really looking forward to is personally challenging for the Europa League somehow, some way, getting to a final, semi-final, and trying to win that. For me, that's the only way how we're going to get Champions League. But next season, we have to take it to the next level. We have to find a way to compete with the top guys.
Well, I think just to put a cap on that, obviously we've got 8 or 9 days left in the transfer window. Maybe you can sign Bundesliga centre-back Eric Schön to your team.
Question: anyone watching right now have any other comments? Please comment down below. Me and Jack.
Yeah, we're gonna kind of put a cap on the Arsenal topic. We've got a couple of kind of important player updates that I do want to just get James's opinion on and just talk about. But James is absolutely right. If anybody does have any questions or anything that you did want to ask, try and catch us out with some other players as well. You can do that too. So James, moving on then to some pretty big news. Kevin De Bruyne, Man City, hottest form in the Premier League. Up there with the likes of Manchester United and Arsenal, who are putting some wins together, Everton. But Man City, top of the form table at the moment. They lose their best player for up to 6 weeks. How damaging is this for not just Man City, but Man City's title hopes?
That's a AJ or no, that's a Deontay Wilder blow to the gut. That's a big hit for this Man City team. Like when you look at it. The heart, the soul, the creativity, the goals, everything is down to Kevin De Bruyne. He is, to me, the best player in the Premier League. And when you miss the best player in the Premier League, it's going to be a big miss. But Guardiola didn't build this team for no reason. He didn't build this team that has Jesus, Raheem Sterling, Bernardo Silva, Ilkay Gundogan, Mahrez. Like, let's be honest, this is a quality team that Man City have put together in that time. And I follow Box to Box Football on Twitter. Yeah, again, this is a quality team that Man City have put together, and I still expect them to win, but it's gonna be very, very difficult right now. If I'm being honest to them, it's going to be very difficult for them to get to where they want to get.
So before I kind of come back, obviously Patrick's in the comments saying Leicester are finished too. Obviously we'll get on to Jamie Vardy. Just asking out there, if you want to give a little, put something in the comments, let us know why you think Leicester are finished. Maybe we can respond to that.
Also, Patrick, could you help us and just hit the subscribe button? Anybody watching right now, please help us hit the subscribe button. It would really, really help the channel, if I'm being honest. But Jack, go ahead.
So with this Manchester City thing and Kevin De Bruyne, I think the thing that struck me first about it is, remember when a few weeks ago Pep Guardiola was like, I can't drop him. I can't drop him. Like, is this not this, totally symptomatic of not resting one of your best players?
Oh, Jack.
No, James, am I crazy? He overplays he overplays his best player. Now he's missing for 6 weeks. He's missing 4th round Manchester derby. There's another big game in there somewhere too. There's 3 big games that he's probably going to miss.
I think it's Liverpool and Tottenham.
Is this a Pep Guardiola? I think this is Pep Guardiola's fault.
Injuries are injuries, and injuries can happen in training, Jack. So you never ever know when that when that stuff could happen. I don't know how he actually got injured. Could you tell me, Jack, how he got injured?
I'll check that now.
But to say that it was Pep Guardiola's fault, Pep Guardiola only put him on a football pitch, and he happened to get hurt.
It's a hamstring injury. It's a hamstring injury. That's overplaying.
No. Listen, if you're a quick player like Kevin De Bruyne, I won't say he has fast twitch fibers, but if you're a quick player like that, it's a little extent of your body in you can pull a hamstring. It's not Pep Guardiola's fault. A player got injured. You go back in Kevin De Bruyne's career, he's probably played as many games as he's played now.
So Pep Guardiola's comments. Guardiola has said his players are having to play too many matches and are picking up injuries as a result. To demand they are fit for 11 months playing every 3 days is impossible, said the Spaniard. With this amount of competitions, the body says it's enough. The players don't want to get injured, but it's no secret. When we demand 5 substitutions, it's for this reason. So it seems to me like Pep Guardiola is making an admission there. It's because there's too many games. And it's Pep's choice who he plays for those games. Now, I'm not saying that Pep should be totally held responsible, but I just think it's interesting that we had this whole thing about, I'm not going to drop him. I'm just not going to drop him. He's Kevin De Bruyne. He's my best player. I'm just going to keep playing him. Now he's out for up to 10 matches he's going to miss with this hamstring injury. And James, you and I both know a hamstring injury is the type of injury your return game, you overstretch it a little too much, you're back out for another 4 weeks.
Could you just repeat that question? Sorry, I was doing something quickly.
A hamstring injury is the type of injury where you can come back. Let's say he's out for 5 weeks. He comes back. His first game, he goes for a sprint, tweaks it again. He's out for another 4 weeks. That's the way hamstring injuries work.
But Jack, that's the danger. But that's the danger you live with in football. Players can get injured at any time, and I do understand the fixtures are so congested. You're literally playing like every 2 days. You blink and there's a Premier League game. But again, that's what we love, and like to me, that's what they sign up for. I'm not a fan of all this thing about players have worked too much and all that and all that type of stuff. You're a football player. You get to play football. Get over it. That's generally just my opinion on it.
So obviously, I think James and I are going to do kind of a mid-season top 6 prediction at some point. Little teaser for that for anybody interested. That'll be coming out soon.
Just a quick one for Patrick, for you, Jack.
In my opinion, Arsenal are capable of winning the league because last season we beat Liverpool and Man City without a problem. This was part of my reason I had him second.
Patrick, all right, okay. We beat Liverpool. We had 2 shots on target, and then we beat Liverpool. That makes no sense without no problem. Liverpool battered us for 90 minutes, and they had 2 mistakes. We scored from Man City. We sat back the whole game and had 3 chances. 2 of them Aubameyang took. We won. I wouldn't say we bet them with no ease. Arteta was able to find a way, a formula to beat this team, and that's sitting back. Luckily enough, we got that, and we won again. I wouldn't say that. For me, it's about improving the quality of the team overall, not bringing in players like Willian, finding a way to get something out of Pepe, because it's getting to a point right now. I'm thinking this guy's a 72 million pound player. We need to get something out of him. He should be the reason why we're going for leagues and getting 4th place. But right now he isn't, and we're having to rely on young players like Emil Smith-Rowe and Saka.
I think Arsenal can win 1 league in the next 5 years, but the conditions for them to do that are they need to stick with Mikel Arteta and they need to hit on every single big transfer that they make over the next 5 or 6 windows. Now, that's nigh on impossible. We've already mentioned Nicola Pepe. I mean, it's not been pretty at all. The next few signings, whoever they are, they need to hit, and they need to be starters. They need to be in different positions, not taking up each other's positions. It needs to work for Arteta. Arteta needs to be there because, unfortunately, you're in a league with Man City, who might be getting Lionel Messi, Manchester United, who have loads of money to spend, Liverpool, who are due to kind of spend some more money pretty soon, supposedly as well. Chelsea, who've spent loads of money and don't put it past Roman Abramovich to spend money again. Everton are challenging. Leicester are there. I think Arsenal, all the pieces have to come together. And I think it's very unlikely, but I do foresee potentially 1 title in the next 5 years, but the stars have to align.
But Jack, you say 1 title in the next 5 years. Let me just break something down for you. Chelsea, look at their team. Look how young it is. As I said on a number of occasions, this Chelsea team are equipped to challenge and win the next 5 to 6, 7 Premier Leagues. Look at Manchester. Look how young their squad is. Bruno Fernandes, Martial, Rashford, Paul Pogba. They're also equipped to win the league for the next few years.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm talking about over the next 5 or 6 windows. If you sign another central midfielder to sit next to Thomas Partey, it's got to hit. If you're signing another centre-back, it's got to hit. If you're signing a striker, it's got to hit. You have to have that 20-goal-a-season striker. You have to have that killer central midfielder. You have to have that centre-back. You probably need another winger. They all need to hit like a signing of Bruno Fernandes kind of level.
But Jack, how much confidence you say has to hit when we bring in players like a Willian?
No, but this is why I said, James, the stars really have to align. I'm not thinking it will happen at all.
Yeah, but Jack, it's too much. Everything has to cook. We need instant connection now. You know,
but it's impossible. That football does not work that way. I'm not saying it will never happen, but I'm saying that football does not work that way. You've already brought it up. All the other competitors in this league are going to be in roughly the same position that Arsenal are going to be in, even if the stars align for Arsenal.
And Jack, let's be honest. Let's even look. Okay, Liverpool team, I get it because they're an Asian team and they've been together for a long time. But look what Pep Guardiola is doing. I think he's putting together another Man City team that's coming to ready to equip the challenge for the next few titles too. You know, and especially players like John Stones coming back.
I agree with you. A striker, an X factor like Lionel Messi. You know, we know what position that the Man City are going to be in going forward. Manchester United, again, it's the same. It's the exact same thing. We know they were ready to spend 100 million on another right winger. You know, and it's all just gonna keep happening. Liverpool, there's going to be some turnover there. They're going to spend some money. Maybe Kylian Mbappe will be in the Premier League next year. I'm just saying that's something that could happen too. So before we kind of turn this into just a complete Arsenal show, which I guess it kind of has been, but I'm okay with that. Jamie Vardy. I think Patrick's probably saying Leicester are finished too because of the Jamie Vardy impact. Now, I hate patting myself on the back for stuff along the lines of players getting injured, but I made the point. I think that Jamie Vardy and how brilliant he's been for how long he's been, he doesn't age. The guy doesn't age. He still looks the exact same now as he did when he first came into the league. He's still scoring goals in the same way, but the injury bug gets to you eventually.
Wasn't it not like a hernia? He has to go for hernia surgery. That's not really like.
No, it's not an injury in that respect. But you know what's the old saying? The best ability to have in professional sport is availability, right? And obviously his availability is going to go down now. Now with this operation, how much does this hurt Leicester City? You know, I'm sure they had top 4 ambitions before the season. Now you'd say they probably had title ambitions at this point. How does this affect Leicester?
If I said Kevin De Bruyne's shot was Deontay Wilder's punch to the gut, this is a Deontay Wilder knockout because Jamie Vardy's his X factor is so huge, not just because of his ability and like the goals he brings in, but also the know-how, the experience of already been in a title race with this like with his Leicester team. Losing that is absolutely huge. And I remember we were talking about the Leicester team the other day. Guys, please go check that out if you haven't. But you mentioned how cool the squad is, and you have Ian Nachos and like your Cengiz Unders. Can they really replace Jamie Vardy? And Jack, as I said to me, that will be the difference. A player gets injured like Kevin De Bruyne, but Man City still have Bernardo Silva, Ilkay Gundogan, Riyad Mahrez, so many brilliant players. Phil Foden, player like Jamie Vardy gets injured, and Iheanacho is a man that you're turning to. How difficult is that?
So it's Ayoze Perez or Kelechi Iheanacho, both of whom we can tell are just huge downgrades on Jamie Vardy. I will say when Ayoze Perez was at Newcastle, I did think, he's a decent player. You know, he won't replace Jamie Vardy, but you know, if he starts starting for Leicester in the number 9 spot, I fully expect him to get maybe half the amount of goals that somebody like Jamie Vardy would get. But let's say over like a 10-game period, if Jamie Vardy were to get 7 goals, I can see Perez getting 3 or 4 goals over that period of time. I think they need help from the other areas of the team. In terms of title hopes, this is an absolute killer. Even top 4 hopes with how competitive it is, this is going to be a major, major blow. And I think this is a really, really good summation as to why you need a decent backup, or at least a winger who can play centre forward if needs be. I look at a team like Manchester United, for example, who I think have got it nailed from a goal-scoring perspective. They have 4 players who can play striker. But of those 4 players, 3 of them also can play out wide. So you've got Cavani, but you've also got Greenwood, Martial and Rashford. They're sorted. If one of them gets hurt, there's still a very, very potent goal-scoring threat across the board there. Jamie Vardy injured for this Leicester team. I don't know what to say. We've got another comment. Next 2 weeks for Leicester are going to be tough. We'll see how much impact Vardy really does to the club. And I agree with you. I actually totally agree with you here because James,
we look at fixtures. What's Leicester's fixtures for the next few games?
Well, and James, we were talking about this, weren't we? About how Brendan Rodgers is as a coach and how he is and players.
Yeah. Really I think me and Jack agree that Brendan Rodgers is the 3rd best coach in the Premier League. Like generally, he is an absolute fantastic coach, and like what he's been able to do with his Leicester team has been absolutely incredible. But you have the fixtures up there, Jack?
Yeah. I've got them here. So you've got Everton away, tough game. Everton playing well again. Then you've got Leeds United. Everton away. Leicester are playing Leeds at home. Then you go away to Fulham, away to Wolves. And actually, it's funny. And then a couple of really difficult games. You're playing Liverpool. But maybe there's no better time to play Liverpool, James, right? But just to kind of cap off there with Wolves, I think this impact is going to be much the same as a Raul Jimenez Wolves impact, right? The main goal threat, the kind of central, apex of this team is now gone. And you're probably still going to see some nice football. Wilfred Ndidi's going to break up play. Yuri Tielemans is going to play nicely. Harvey Barnes, James Maddison, good on the ball. They're going to look good. Everything's going to be all right. But then when it comes to that one goal-scoring opportunity, that chance that Harvey Barnes or James Maddison creates for Iheanacho or for Ayoze Perez, the ball's probably not going to go in. And it's what we've seen for Wolves for most of the year.
To be fair, I won't be surprised if Brendan Rodgers does try something a bit innovative. And don't be surprised if you let's say, see Harvey Barnes or James Maddison play as a number 9 now. Bit of a false 9, kind of just playing off the shoulder and like dropping it in deep to like create another options and having other runners from deep.
Or maybe 2 strikers, James. I'm not saying that this is a good idea. This isn't what I would do. But why not play Iheanacho and Perez? Why not have kind of a 4 in there? James Maddison and Harvey Barnes, I'm sure, would not particularly mind playing as right or left-sided midfielders. So it's not kind of solely based on that kind of that pace aspect that Leicester would usually go for. But that's something certainly to consider and playing about with if you need more of a goal threat from your team. James, I think that's about it. Unless you had anything else you want to talk about. Obviously, we've done Ødegaard, Matt Ryan to Arsenal, general chat about Arsenal and the state of play. We talked about De Bruyne and Vardy, the impact of losing them for the next several weeks. James, anything else?
Guys, I think we're done. But again, if you enjoyed us doing this, we will do a lot more. But what we need you guys to do is really smash that like button and definitely subscribe. Check out all our other stuff. Smash them like buttons there. Share it. Let people know about it. The more you help this channel grow, the more me and Jack will come and give you as much great content as we can possibly can. So, guys, please help us out, and we will definitely come and embrace you with our presence.
Is Ødegaard confirmed? It's not confirmed. But what I will say is when the likes of Fabrizio Romano, when the likes of BBC Sport, when these kind of more reputable sources are on it, it's all but done. And what I will say, I don't think I mentioned this, the reason why Real Madrid are so happy to do it with Arsenal is Real Sociedad are kind of a top 4 threat at the moment. I think it's like 3 or 6 points off Real Madrid at the moment. And with obviously David Silva's impact, Ødegaard, I think Willian Jose is potentially moving on loan or even permanently to Wolves. So there's lots of moving pieces at Sociedad here, and Real Madrid just want to hurt Sociedad's chances.
Now, if I was to support any other team, I would tell you that, yeah, it's done. It's done. The speculation, the reports from everyone, I would say it's done. But if you've been an Arsenal fan, you know that it's not done until you actually see him with the Arsenal top on there, with this, like think about it. Zlatan already had his picture, but it wasn't even confirmed. So you just gotta wait. It's not confirmed yet, but it's 90% done. Hopefully, you will come tomorrow.
I'd go as far to say 99. I think it's going to be a simple loan. It's only going to be till the end of the season. There's no clauses to buy the player or anything of that nature. And I think that Real Madrid are looking at it from a standpoint of, okay, our really good creative players now going to go play in London with Mikel Arteta and some of these great players. I think it all makes sense, and he's not going to go to Real Sociedad. It just makes sense for all sides. Matty Ryan, I believe, has been confirmed. I'm pretty sure I saw that coming. Yeah. But James, unless there's anything else, I think that's it.
So guys, we're done. If you enjoyed this, please comment, like, share, subscribe. We will definitely be back with this. Really enjoyed this, Jack. We're definitely gonna have to do this again. But guys, it's time to go. We'll see you next time.